Have you seen the latest headline from Melody Wright's video, Top Expert in Real Estate? Been around for a couple decades. She's calling for up to a 50% decline in residential real estate. She's not saying that across the board. I'm sure she's talking about a little bit more concentrated in a lot of different areas. But I think it's a video that you want to watch. I'm currently well into the middle of it. It's very interesting. She's got more details and data and stats than most people. I'm not saying I necessarily believe the 50%. I will say last time, North Minneapolis did see 50 to 95% drops. East St. Paul got hit pretty hard too. I do think concentrated areas are going to get hit. I don't think, the really nice areas like Edina, Maple Grove, and some of the higher end suburbs are going to get hit, in my opinion. Too bad. But it is something you want to be conscious of in what's going forward. Yeah, so when I think about even the idea of 50% crash in prices, what does that look like as seller financing terms when we hit those kind of prices? You can definitely see some 0% interest rates, 0% down, 5-10 year balloons. Those are all possibilities. When sellers panic and they get really, really motivated, you've got extreme polarity in the markets. I think that's a great time for buyer investors to come off the sidelines and buy, either on terms or fix and flip some houses. Make sure you run your numbers. A lot of the sellers aren't going to be realistic about the decades of deferred maintenance that they have, and the fact that interest rates are pretty high when you're selling to a retail person. So when it comes to this bifurcated market, or it comes to the different types of offers, the contrasting offers, the low cash offer for the flips, or the very creative seller financing terms. When it comes to those two, one place that you see that is a two-sided marketplace, which you see at 7 p.m. on the first Tuesday of every month, MNREIA, out in Fridley. People grab the microphone. You got people that are motivated sellers. You got people that are wholesalers that are trying to assign these deals from the motivated sellers. We'll probably have some short sales stack up at some point. And then if you have to decide if you're the hungry investor buyer that's got the hard money or the cash on the sidelines, that's all ready to go, to start taking and adding and compounding your cash on cash return and your cash flow. If you're prepared for this, that's what you got to decide, which you'll get a pretty good idea of the market and what's going on, the liquidity in the market, what's moving, what isn't moving, what kind of seller terms are good seller terms, what are bad seller terms, what's good pricing, what's bad pricing. What you might think is a good price out there, you might find a lot of people selling for a lot lower there, buying for a lot lower there, because you can watch the investors who've been around for a while and see what they're buying at and what kind of terms they're getting, and you'll get a really good idea of the market and what's going on. So I'll give you a link to, if it's your first time showing up there, a free pass link that you can go to that, and also learn about wholesaling as well. Now I want to lead you into the Melody Wright video and watch what she has to say. This is just a clip from a much longer video of a very sharp dude as well, Adam Taggart. They've done videos before. She's been around the servicing department, defaulted loans. She saw the last crisis from the inside more than just about anybody I know. So she gets a lot of internal data that a lot of people don't have. So she sees what's on the horizon. She sees the patterns. She sees the liquidity crisis and cash flow issues, and she just studies data all the time. So let me get you into this video right now.
I always feel like I get, yet another dimension of this situation that I didn't fully appreciate before. And the term that's in my mind right now is sort of perfect storm. We've got prices too high, we've got borrowing costs too high, we've got tightening credit standards, we've got distressed sellers in a lot of these areas that we just talked about. We've got record unaffordability. The younger generations just have pretty much given up hope of ever being able to buy. We've got the cost of home ownership have skyrocketed, which should be putting downward pricing pressure on prices anyways. Um, I mean, I'm kind of losing track of all the arguments here for why housing may continue to suffer going forward from here. So, give me the headline here for 2026. I know in the past you've made a bold statement that you think that this housing downturn may actually be worse than the GFC. If that's still true, what's the soundbite here? If somebody said, Melody, where's this all going? What would you say?
Yeah, it's going to be worse because what happened last time was we were on our way down to where household median income would actually match home median prices. We never got there because Wall Street came in to buy those. But now they're crying on TV. I don't know if you've seen some of the clips, but there's been a big, large institutional out there saying, listen, we didn't want to do this, but Fannie and Freddie and FHA begged us to come in and buy these homes. And so you can already see the narrative that they're going to start crying a lot louder soon and say, "Hey, we saved you, government." And so, who's the buyer now? And I've talked on your show before that I think actually the government might become the buyer of last resort here, unfortunately, and then use certain affordability programs. But I think, Adam, we're going to correct all the way to a point where household median income matches the home price, the median home price. And so that is going to be worse than 2008. And I can't, you were saying many things, but I think you included property tax and insurance. But
I did.
yeah, what we just saw in Boston and Chicago is that, where these people were not, where I'm sorry, people, these municipalities were not getting revenue anymore from commercial real estate. They had to go to their homeowners and increase property taxes, doubling many areas of Chicago. This just recently happened. And I think you're going to see more municipalities try to do something like that because they're all in a budget crunch. And so, yes, I think, and by the way, this is the other tricky thing is in the last cycle, remember how many all cash buyers we've had, right? Well, when these aren't on a bank or non-banks balance sheets, there's nobody that's going to be cutting the grass. There's nobody that's going to be winterizing that home, taking care of the mold problem. Which if you service a loan, you have to do all of that. And so I think we could see this kind of devolve into chaos a lot faster than we did last time, as many of the investors abandon these properties, which we're already starting to see. Like if you look at the FHA loan performance trends, and they have categories for why is this 90 plus delinquent? And one of those categories, some of them are unemployment, illness, things like that. But one of them is called no contact. And what that is when you cannot get in touch with that person. Now, prior to the GFC, that would have been a lot of people who were scared to call in and talk to their servicer because they were embarrassed about what was happening. And it would be your investors. Well, now it's a lot less because I read servicing notes all the time. It's a lot less. That it's investors that are walking away, and you're starting to see those numbers just they doubled, I think, from last year. And so this could devolve a lot faster than last time. And so that could be interesting. But yes, worse.
Okay. And for prices to fall to match or come in historical alignment with median incomes, finger to the wind, what type of percentage decline is that from where we are right now?
It's going to be near your 50%, and much greater in certain areas. So, let's say, so probably about 38%, honestly, but, right. It's when you look at current median income.
Okay, so that's losing a limb. That's not a scratch to this
No,
market. Okay.
right. Right. Now
Um,
we could all get, wonderful high paying jobs soon, right? And to keep that from happening.
sure.
Just kidding.
Well, no, we can, look, trust me, sister, I can take that argument over into the stock market as well, which is, hey, yeah, everything magically gets better if we have,
Right.
a resurgence in growth and real wages go up and all that stuff.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
I think you, like me, are looking at the the landscape
Current trajectory.
and
Yeah.
saying, I'm just not seeing that, yeah,
Right.
that hero ride to the rescue anytime soon.
Right.
All right, so you talked about the fact that the U.S. government might become the buyer of last resort here. And we've seen some proposals being floated. Some might say,
Wow, how about that? You want to check out some other Melody Wright videos. She's got some good data. I've been following her for a couple years. She's got a lot of friends on some of the other channels, Travis Real Estate Mindset, Saks Realty, and so forth. They all respect the data that she has and stuff. So I hope you enjoy the entire full video. I think you see the gravity of the situation of what's happening right now in the residential housing market. We've seen a lot of it in the office space, some of the bad financing in multifamily. I don't think there's been a lot of cash in refis as of yet, as those banks eye that collateral. Some of those short-term bridge loans that didn't work out so well. But keep track. I got some more videos coming. I'll keep you up to date.